Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to whatever it is we do on Tuesdays.
The Sour Grapes post show, you mean?
Yeah, that.
For April 22nd?
Yes,
2025?
This date, the one we're on right now. This date.
The fallout of Stand and Deliver?
Yeah, that fallout.
Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats, leave a thumbs up. It is the NXT Sour Grapes post show. Alex is all cranky because Chase U is back, but it's a perfect day because Noam Dar is back and I'm so excited. And I missed him so much. We've got a lot to talk about. This was a wild one. Some good swerves, some bad swerves, some possible murder. We'll all find out together, guys, here on Sour Grapes. So get in those super chats, get in those humper chats. This is our 480th show in 3 days, it feels like. So rock and roll with us on the NXT After Mania. I don't even know what to plug on Fightful Select because it was just so wild over there with all the scoops in the land. And I'll tell you what, this WWE Unreal show is just going to confirm a bunch more of both Sean and Dave Meltzer's, as did The Rock earlier today on Pat McAfee's show. So what now, suckers? That's what I have to say. But FightfulSelect.com had scoops all weekend. Not our usual like scoops thread, but we had a lot going on. The return of Rusev was something that a lot of people thought was going to happen in the Randy Orton Open Challenge slot. Sean had the scoop that he was not slated for that, but was around TV. He came back Monday, obviously. Nobody thought it was who it was, and he showed up here at NXT, much to Alex's delight. So we're going to get into all of that and more. Lots happened. Lots happened on Fightful Select. Kerry King from Slayer playing Damian Creed. We had music scoops going on Fightful Select. We had betting scoops in the Discord. We went, I think, 5 for 6 on night one. I don't know what we did for, or 6 for 7 on night one. I don't know how night two turned out, but man, oh man. FightfulSelect.com had you covered all weekend, including some stuff for Stand and Deliver, which we reviewed that. It feels like we reviewed everything. It was the show of the weekend. It was, to me, from front to back, the best show of the weekend.
Yeah, it was. It was. Well, it would have been great if they had built on it in a satisfying way to me personally, but they did not do that.
Well, it's so weird because mostly on the women's side, like a bunch of people showed up on Raw and it's like, okay, Are they staying there? Like, what's going on with that? There was Body Slam had a report that Lola Vice and Trick are being evaluated as like call up sooner than later. So it's kind of like, it's so hard to make calls on certain things because I'm like, I don't know what anyone's doing, but I know Noam Dar is back. Yeah. You're not gonna get me down, Alex.
I'm sorry, like that, like it's I was very happy about that. And then other things occurred afterwards. And so I'm no longer happy. Like that's the thing. I can't chronologically, if I am happy about a thing and then I am sad about a different thing or angry about a third thing, then the first thing ceases to make me happy anymore because it predates the sad and the angry thing. I don't understand why everybody else is not like me.
Well, it's also inconsistent with how you work because if something makes you angry or sad, that stays around even if it closes on a positive note. So pick a lane, buddy. He was trying to wipe off Lexus King's beard. I was a happy camper.
But all the bad things happened after that. I don't disagree. That was amazing, but like, I can't keep a smile through things that make me sad.
Well, all right, HBK. Seems like you lost your smile.
I did. I'm never getting it back either. Amazing Alex, Killer Kate, Proud Papa Paul Elizabeth on all the SGS. Mania'd so much I'm bipolar. I'm feeling much better now. Much loved. Thank you so much, JW Pringle. We love you.
I am so tired.
Adelia says, "Hi, Alex and Kate. I don't watch NXT beyond social media clips. Seems like crazy things are happening on that show there." They are crazy things. As a matter of fact, oh my God, so crazy. There was this fake university that I loathed. And then finally it was put up, like the existence of the fake university, like whether or not it would continue to exist, was put up in a match by the fake guy who was a fake university president who ran the fake university. And then he lost the match. And then the university ceased to exist forever until tonight. So that is pretty crazy. Isn't it crazy? It's crazy.
I think Adelia was probably referring more to the fact that they implied that they murdered a man, but
oh, that's not crazy.
I don't think the charter of the school is where Adelia was at, but
no, that's not crazy. That's actually quite sane. Committing murder on national TV is sane compared to bringing this fake university back from the dead.
You don't know what he went through to get his charter back.
I swear.
If
that is the only university that's getting federal funding, I'm opening up an inquest. I'm opening up an inquest. Okay. Matthew Hooks has good news, which does make me happy. So I guess now I'm not allowed to be sad anymore.
Wait. Matthew Hooks of Hooked in Voiceovers, sponsor of the show once a month.
Yes.
That Matthew Hooks?
Yes, I have a job promotion interview tomorrow. Everybody send good vibes at Matthew Hooks. So his job promotion interview goes very well. Just Ricardo says, "Congrats to Hooks. Good luck, bub."
I love that. That was a super chat. You guys are the best.
Mm-hmm. It's great. Orion Ben says, "Hiya, SGS. What we have here are two different sours. On the left, lemon sour. On the right, sour candy. Strap yourselves in. We're going grappling, folks. Yes, we are. We are doing all those things. We're doing all those things."
Noam Dar's back.
So, as of Stand and Deliver, we had a set of women's tag team champions. And there was a four corners pre-show elimination tag match to determine the number one contendership to the tag titles. And it was won by Gigi and Taters.
Mm-hmm.
And then later that weekend, the following night, Lyra had to find a new partner because Bailey had been written off of television for some reason. And then so Becky Lynch, our old friend Becky Lynch, decided to show up and be Lyra's partner, and they won the tag titles from Liv and Raquel. And then the following night, last night, if you're counting along, Liv and Raquel got a rematch for those same tag titles and beat Lyra and Becky. And after that, Becky flew off the handle and decided to try and murder Lyra Valkyria. So
she flew off the manhandle specifically. Yeah.
And then we got Liv and Raquel fulfilling their contractual obligation and coming to NXT tonight to defend the titles against Gigi and Taters. They just won. And which was to be expected, but that was a lot of stuff to happen over the course of 3 days to just get back to the people who were tag champions going into WrestleMania. And it's fine, I guess, but like, does it? I don't know. It's just a thing. It's a thing we did. It's a lot of things that we did to get to where there.
Yeah, we 3 tag title defenses in 3 days with 2 different sets of tag champions is a wild little route to take.
Yeah.
That was the only thing on the stand and deliver card that I didn't love the way that they went about it. But I get it, and I'm very happy to see Gigi and Tatum in the spot because they just felt like they weren't on track, and now it feels like they were at least doing something of importance. I like that the tag titles are around. I wish they had their own set of them, but I like that they're around. I hope that whoever is tag champs Friday considers coming back to NXT as well at some point. Who knows? They might go to ROH tomorrow and lose them.
You never know.
You don't know, especially on that show. So, I think it's good. Like if you're only going to have one set, they should travel and they should be defended frequently. This was a little overkill on that aspect of it. If they would have just waited, like Lyra and Tatum have such history, right? So it would have been better to play off of that, but they probably didn't want Becky turning heel on NXT. So I kind of get that as well. But solid opener. And it certainly seems like we got a tease later for the Zol Crushers.
Yeah. Yeah. They talked to Liv and Raquel and Soul. Liv and Raquel were saying mean things as they are normally known to do.
She has 2 titles and we have the tag titles and you have none. Which if I was Zarya, I would have just picked her up and thrown her 47 yards because she could, but
yes,
she has more self-control than I. To be clear, if I was Zarya and could lift people the way she would, I would just be doing that to people on the street, just like get ahead of my way, whoosh, all the time.
Oh yeah,
I've someone
just walking up behind some tourist on the sidewalk, looking at a map.
Oh my god, all day.
Just pick them up by the elbows and go, and just keep walking.
Oh, you're nicer than me. They're getting F5'd.
Oh, wow.
If you don't have spatial awareness because you're on your phone, you're getting F5'd.
Extra.
Yes.
Extra for you. Soul says maybe I will maybe we'll beat you and I'll get 3 titles. She thinks she's gonna beat us. And they leave. So we're definitely getting that match, but I don't think that Soul I think we're lucky enough to have Soul get 3 titles. So it's just gonna be Liv and Raquel for a while doing that.
Do you think the turn, even though they just did this on Monday, I'll put it this way. If main roster creative is fine with doing the exact same story they did with Jade and Naomi with Becky and Bayley, do you think they're also lazy enough to do we're using this tag title match to turn Zarya on Soul this early?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, she did not seem too pleased with like, hey, you've got 2 titles and you got none. And Zarya's like, well, that stings. I don't like that very much.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it would be a more gradual situation.
I mean, it could. Honestly, it could happen next Tuesday. Or it could happen 2 years from now. Like, they don't have any... We have no sense of how long it takes them to do things. They just decide when they do it, they do it.
There's an end of May pay-per-view for them, right?
No, isn't the next one Battleground? Or is that? Yeah, that is the one. That is the next one. Battleground is that one. Yes.
Battleground is May 25th. So the turn either happening there or happening before it. So that's a match there. I don't fully hate that pacing. I would like it to be longer than this week. And I would like for it not to be too long just because I'm ready for that version of Zarya. So I'm ready for that. So I don't mind like a month to build to that. That's not bad.
Yeah. Tom LaValle says, Hooks, best of luck. Hope they see what we know. Isn't that nice? Tom LaValle said that.
I hope so too. They shouldn't even have to interview him, honestly.
No.
They should be like promoted to head of the world. Yeah, go for it. Hooks.
Yeah. Great.
And narrate it while you do.
Meet Norma says, hello, bruvs. Bangs are on point, Kate. Hi, Alex. You are there. There you are. I have chicken wings on my socks and in my belly. Let's crank. How was NXT? Terrible. One of the worst episodes I've ever done because of only 2 things. Everything else pales in comparison. So
Noam Dar is back. Nothing else matters. Everything's perfect. So we're on different pages tonight.
We are Siskel and Ebert tonight. We are just completely different. I hated it. I loved it. Well,
When Duke Hudson exits, Noam Dar enters, and that's the circle of life, you know?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Ryan Cicchini says, I do want a Zaruka / Liv and Raquel match before break up. Yes, we're definitely getting it. It just depends on when and what the circumstances are, you know?
It does. I just don't want them to run the same angle within a week, but also they do that literally always all the time. So
quite a lot, actually. So
hey, my dad has a humper chat that he sent in.
Did he? I don't know. Is it there? I can't see it. I can't read it, so I can't see it.
It says everything sucks at NXT and Chase U. My dad knows ball.
Oh,
so he says, get some sleep, Team Kalex, and get the promotion mat hooks and Sir JW of Pringle. Don't forget to call your mom, son. Well, there you go. Hi, Dad.
Yep. That's very nice. We also got Just Ricardo saying, my son Dexter says hello, SGS. Hello to you, Dexter.
Point Dexter? Hello.
No, not Dexter Loomis. No, just Dexter.
Not like the show, right? I don't get creepy.
No, out. I don't think it was a serial killer who kills serial killers. I don't think that's true. Yeah, Lieutenant Photo reminding that me being happy about hooks shouldn't erase all the angriness. Lieutenant Photo says, Alex, come on, just think of Joe Hendry. Oh, don't worry, I will be for the rest of my life, apparently. I can't get away from that guy. Just Ricardo says, Alex, it's all Tim's fault. Get mad at him. What did you do, Tim? Tim, what did you do? Did you manifest something? You better not have manifested something. Okay.
I did take you off screen because what you were trying to say the other day. Okay.
No, again, happening. You know how we know? Because Pat Mack was trash talking Gunther.
Still not letting him do it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, twice on Sundays. I'm not letting him book Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Thanks. Right. Thanks for coming.
Fine.
I'm hovering over the pull from the stream button. Just in case you try and pull some sneaky shit.
Just running from the truth. That's all you're doing. So that's fine.
You know what? This week I'm fine with that.
Remember on Stand and Deliver, Kate, when I said, where's the third skit?
Yes.
Like Lexus King ran into Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller and said magic wasn't real. So Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller.
In the mud now, Lexus King. Magic is real. You should have listened to Nigel McGuinness.
Okay. And so he made his Heritage Cup disappear. And then there was a second skit with him looking for it, and he couldn't find it. And then the show ended, and I was like, there's got to be a third skit where he finds it in the weirdest place possible. Or, in this case, they're going to release a skit obviously filmed at the exact same time as the Saturday skit, but say that it took place today, because Penn Jillette says, I will make your Heritage Cup reappear, but you have to agree to defend it tonight. By the way, Penn wearing obviously the same suit, and Lexus King wear the same outfit. It's filmed in the exact same spot. So it definitely was filmed on Saturday, but for today, and I just stopped doing that. You could easily have just said this occurred on Saturday. You have to defend your cup. You have to defend your cup on Tuesday night. Just do it then. Why must you gaslight us on the most inconsequential things? Stop gaslighting.
Because they want it to seem hot and sexy and current.
Yes, I forgot.
When you want something hot and sexy and current, you book Penn Teller. That's what you do.
So,
What would have actually been great would have been if Lexus King's hair and beard were all smushed because he was looking around for so long. Like if all the like extremely precise lines were a mess. That would have ruled. They should have done that.
So you have to defend it tonight. Well, first you have to tell us, you have to say to the camera that magic is real. And then
Hell yeah, Lexus King.
And then except
Sucker.
like I think that some of the stuff that magicians do, I don't ever want to know how it's done. Like it might as well be actual magic. That's fine. One of those things where like, hey, pick a card, any card, and then like now look under your desk and it's like the card that you picked or whatever. One of those crazy things. I never want to know how any of that works. It's crazy. But this particular magic trick was the fakest magic trick I've ever seen. I put your heritage cup on a stool behind this sheet, and there's also another sheet behind it that could easily be moved, and then your heritage cup removed. And it's like, oh my God, magic is real. It's like, I know you guys can do better than this. Anyway, he said you have to defend it tonight, meaning Tuesday, against a surprise opponent. Of course, there's only one possibility for who that person could be. That would satisfy you, make you very, very happy, and would satisfy me, make me less happy, but still happy. And I was like, it's gonna be just some rando dude. It's gonna be like Javier Bernal. It's like it's gonna be some random person just because we never even thought of Noam Dar. That's weird. Like it's the people who just don't know what the hell is going on. I assumed that. So because we knew that match was happening tonight, if you had asked me who's interrupting Ricky Starks's I won at Santa Deliver promo, it was not going to be Lexus King, but Lexus King has something specific to do this very evening. Why would he interrupt him? That doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this? And he interrupts Ricky Starks. And he's like, I have a match tonight for my Heritage Cup, but I'm going to win that, obviously. So I want a match versus you for that North American title belt next week. And Ricky says, I already know about this. I talked to Ava. She told me you went to her, and she already granted you the match. So there's no way I could say no anyway. But I think you better be watching out for that person. He says, oh, and well, this is so funny. He says, I want a match for that North American cup. And to show you that I'm a fighting champion, I'll put my cup on the line against your title. And Ricky was like, okay, I already knew we were having the match for my title. You adding that is just like bonus. Okay. But you better be watching out for whoever your mystery opponent is. So they made a title for title match. They made it a title for title match, knowing they had already booked Noam Dar to beat Lexus King for his cup, his title, knowing they would never put it on the line. So there was no reason for him to say he was going to.
This is pretty classic NXT of like, let me go out of my way to give you something and take it away. Like that kind of cloudy booking is
it is weird. Like if this is listen again, out of character for me, but I did do a thing on Saturday where I said that I think HBK should be booking the main roster too, because it'd be better than what Triple H is doing. However, it does not mean the man is perfect, and this is one of the things that I do not like about his thing. He muddies the waters constantly. Do not let HBK come into your kitchen, because if he opens the fridge and sees a pitcher of Brita filtered water, he will go out into your garden and get a handful of dirt and drop it into the Brita filtered water pitcher, because he has to muddy all the waters he sees. He has to do it.
At least it's a Brita, because it's going to filter it out. But yeah, it's WWE, and I'll say this, most of wrestling, but especially WWE, aren't very good at like swerves. They're not great at throwing you off the scent of something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this was going out of its way to accomplish. I think you said not long ago, like they'll sometimes make corners to back themselves into
Yes.
and have to get out of
Yes.
it. This was kind of like one of those things where it was a little weird. There were a couple of sequencing things this episode that we're going to talk about because I know you were so excited to see Joe Hendry around. But like Joe Hendry and Ethan Page have a title match at TNA Rebellion on Sunday. And by watching this episode, you wouldn't know it. But Joe Hendry was on the show interacting with top talent, none of whom he's facing at the pay-per-view that he has coming up. They didn't even mention it. There wasn't even a real interaction between the two of them. But Ethan Page was on the show backstage.
Yes.
So all of that feels like unnecessary, like poor sequencing and like just unnecessary of like not acknowledging someone that you're defending the title against is extremely weird. Putting this in there to be like, let's make it so that he doesn't actually get it is because that just has no payoff, right? Like if he really cared about, if he was a 3-time former North American champion and now he's been trying to get back to that title for 3 months and losing the Heritage Cup match cost him to not get back to the North American title, then I'm emotionally invested as to why that guy doesn't get a title shot. He just decided and he lost in the 4-pack to not get a title shot, which is what Starks initially started with. So it's not like if it was Johnny Gargano coming back and by losing the Heritage Cup, he didn't get a title shot at that title, I would be like, oh, that's affecting in some way. But this was just like, he doesn't even care about the rules of the actual Heritage Cup that he has.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what do we care about this?
Yep. Yeah. So this is why again, they had a really cool story that I had laid out a bunch of times. And I honestly thought the only reason they did the thing that they did with Lexus King and the rules of the cup was so they would do this story. It doesn't make sense for them to do it otherwise. When he says, oh, I talked to Ava, and because I'm the champ now, I get to decide what the rules of the cup are. No more rounds, no more falls, no more timing. It's just one fall to a finish. So it's like a regular wrestling match. And I thought to myself, well, then the guy who cares about the rules the most is Noam Dar, who was the longest, who has the most cumulative days as Heritage Cup champion more than anybody else. He's the one who cares about it the most. It's his cup. So him coming back and basically saying you've sullied the legacy of this cup. He said you'll sullied the legacy of this cup. He'd say something like that. And we're gonna get the rules back. And Lexus King says, fine, but you have to beat me first. Like in a non-title match, you have to beat me in my rules, and then we'll have a title match under your rules. And then you do that, or I want a match against you for the title, but they're gonna be under my rules. And then he just wins with one fluke finish because he did a thumb to the eye or a kick to the balls or something. And like, okay, well, disqualification would mean you would lose the cup to me. I know you know that because that's how you won the cup to begin with. So now I went to Ava and she says I get a rematch using the old rules, and then he wins it. Any combination of that would be decent storytelling, character building. It would allow Lexus King to get extra heat. It would allow us to become attached to we miss Noam Dar, and the old rules are better and all this kind of stuff. And he's just a surprise opponent while Lexus King is focused on a different thing now and doesn't even really care about the Heritage Cup because he's going after the North American title. And so Noam Dar comes back, and it's a great moment, and we're all happy to see him, but he doesn't get any mic time, and he beats him rather easily with this really cool spinning back elbow thing, and he beats him. And we don't we don't get like a welcome back Noam Dar promo in the ring after he wins. We don't get backstage later to welcome back. Striper says, "How are you feeling? It's good to have you back," and he cuts a promo back there. We don't, as Orion Ben says, we don't even get to see Noam run into Lash and Jakara.
Yeah,
like why didn't the rest of Metaphor come out and celebrate with him? What a cool surprise that would be for him, that his old stablemates came out to like lift him up on their shoulders. It would just be Lash. Lash would
one
put
finger.
put him up on her shoulders like a dad with a 4-year-old at a parade. That is what Lash would do with him. We didn't get any of that stuff. So like, it's great to have him back. I'm happy he's the Heritage Cup champion and not Lexus King. Super happy about that. But they didn't really make it into all the things it could have been.
I'm wondering if next week we get a proper in-ring promo from Noam Dar.
We need to.
Yeah, and I think they might be doing just a more pared down version of what you said, where the in-ring doesn't necessarily reflect it, or maybe Lexus King can't get it back in Noam Dar's fashion. Like maybe the rematch just goes the other way. But I think Noam Dar is the one to come in, restore the rules, talk about the pride of the Heritage Cup, and then maybe the rest of the Metaphor come out. But maybe they didn't want to fly Aura Mensa in from wherever Evolve tapes to do that moment. But he's perfect. It's perfect. Everything's perfect. None of that matters because Noam Dar's back.
I realize we have been very derelict. We are 32 minutes into this. We have not given them pun topic. So here, I'm giving you 3. Everyone, you can pick whichever one you like, because this is really about Noam for Kate. He is called the Champagne Supernova. Beverages, superheroes, space. You can pick any one of those you want. I'm giving you 3 topics: Champagne Supernova, beverages, superheroes, space. Those are the 3 things. You can pick any one of those 3 that you like. It's a wild card, but only among those 3 topics. Okay? There you go.
Man, I really thought you would have just gone with like Oasis puns because that's who sang the song, but all right.
How many of those are there?
That's a good point. That's a good point. But
Michael Noel Gallagher. Adam Noel Gallagher. That's all I got. Alpha Bill saying HBK being a Brita Federer Salvatore was not on my bingo card today, but this is why I'm always happy to be with this family. We are happy to have you here, Alpha Bill. And yes,
always.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing that. Very happy Noam is back, and I'm very happy that Lexus King is no longer the fraudster Heritage Cup champion, because that making him the champion was one thing. Having him just change the rules and nobody giving a damn. Like, I'd like to change the rules of this division. Yeah, sure, why not? Sure. Like, I feel like he should, like that's a major deal. I don't think I've ever seen like the champ without like just being like, oh yeah, the rules of this is you're the ROH person. Was there ever an ROH pure champion that you know of who came in and said, oh yeah, all these rules, yeah, we're getting rid of them? And then whoever's in charge of ROH going like, yeah, that sounds fine. I really don't care.
I don't think so, because of the product ROH has been. Was there? I don't think so. It was just Nigel McGuinness flirting with breaking them all the time, for the most part, from what I remember watching. But that product is such a polar opposite presentation of wrestling than this one. Like it fits the Lexus King character. It just feels like the story became more about him chasing Ricky Starks tonight and not about him with the cup and Noam Dar tonight. But that could all change next week. Like he could be apoplectic that he lost his only title and he didn't get a title shot, and now what does he do, kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Noam Dar trying to rub off his beard sent me.
Yes, that was the best moment of the entire thing. him like spitting on his wrist and then rubbing the beard. And honestly, it would have been so freaking great if he pulled it away and there was a bunch of black on his that would have been just the coolest thing. On his wrist tape, on his wrist tape was just a whole bunch of black smeared on it. It would have been just the best.
Shoe polish or whatever.
Oh
so man, good. It was so funny.
So
that was a hell of an injury too, by the way. Whatever, I don't even know what the injury was, but he was out for a very long time.
11 months, they said.
11 months, and I forgot the page that took him out, which they reference later, which I like.
He was out weeks before they signed Ethan Page. But they just retrofit it that it was Ethan Page who took him out instead of Joe Coffey. They just decided it was Ethan Page. After they signed him, they were like, "Oh, Ethan Page took him out. Great."
That's because we had to do Ornamenta trying to roll him up every 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So,
we've come a long way with Ethan Page.
You've come a long way, baby. So. All the ladies just backstage talking about Vegas and matches and stuff.
That's all Soul too. They just sit around and reflect.
Yeah. So it was Soul and Zarya talking to whom? And then in runs Thea Hale. And
she came flying in. she like an RKO, but she just entered the scene with all of the.
She literally cocained into frame. Like it's just poof, and then there she is, and she's jumping around all over the place. And I was like, I thought you were taking speed to help you study for the exams at the defunct college, but you're not there anymore. You're a grown-ass woman now.
It's an addictive habit, Alex.
Thea's there, and then
she's Eddie Edwards now.
Kalani is like, it's not the same place that you left 5 months ago. It's just not. And then Fallon's like, yeah, oh my God, you're here. And Kalani's like, not my problem, and leaves. And Jada Parker's like, I am so hungover. I cannot deal with your energy today. But like Fallon,
I'm not hungover, but she was very relatable. I was like, I am very tired, and my threshold for people is very low today.
She decides that Fallon would like to have a match with Thea, and Thea's like, cool. And again, it's just her saying, I'm a grown-ass woman, and then Eddie Edwards theme. Okay.
It's like Def Rebel wasn't lazy enough. Now they just have to take someone else's name.
Take somebody else's theme?
And put a thing on the front of it. Like, being stock music wasn't bad enough. This is what they have to do.
Yeah. And then Thea beat Fallon in 3 minutes. She beat her in a Joe Hendry. Like
one Joe Hendry.
It took her only one Joe Hendry to beat Fallon Henley. Mostly because Fallon Henley got big booted in the face by JC Jane on the outside accidentally.
Yes.
But then Thea hit her with the Kimura and made her tap out.
When I was a kid and we were on like long car trips, this is how old I am. We didn't have like a bunch of screens that were portable at the time. So it was just my dad having to sing Disney songs to us. But we would measure things in Saved by the Bells because that was like our unit of measure as kids. So it would be like, how many more Saved by the Bells? That's what Joe Hendry is now. 3.5 minute increments. About give or take 20 seconds is a Joe Hendry. So there you go. I wish it had gotten going, but it's actually not a bad story. Like I don't like that it was basically a squash. I actually kind of felt that way about the Orton and Joe Hendry thing. Was like there was a story within those 3 minutes, and there is an art to the 3 to 4 minute match.
Sure.
But I don't like it when that art is somebody else's interference that's on your side. I like it when it's like, oh, she just got her. She just knocked her out or whatever.
Right.
Like in a 3 to 4 minute match context, I prefer
Sure.
those stories.
Yes.
But Thea
I
Hale looking
agree.
strong coming back.
The story is of this match is the dissolution now of Fatal Influence.
Yes.
Fallon is not going to like that she lost that match because JC Jane kicked her in the face.
And JC Jane's been getting frustrated too. Like it's on its way.
They're breaking up. Here's the thing: is like I don't know the best shot Fatal Influence has of having any kind of ceiling on the main roster is sadly leaving Jasmine Nix behind to season some more because she's not main roster ready. But Fallon and JC Jane certainly are. They're not getting any better in NXT. This is what they are. We got to see if they can sink or swim. So rather than breaking them up, debut them on the main roster as Fatal Influence, but do it when Kiana James is healthy. And she immediately slots as the third member.
I like that.
And they can give whoever is the babyface IC champion fits, but they're never going to be champion. But like, there's 3 of them and 1 of you, and like that kind of thing. Or they can be in the tag division. They're not going to I don't think they have a chance of letting them set the world on fire. But they could be a serviceable mid-card act. I think Kiana James has a lot of potential as that kind of thing. We'll have to see. She never did anything when she was up and then she got hurt. But she would fit perfectly in the Fatal Influence kind of thing. You know what I mean? And again, I think Jasmine Nix has gotten a lot better, but she still has a lot of room to grow and she's very young. I want to see what she does by herself doing stuff down here. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and she was only put in there because it was almost like an ironic thing, right? It's like, we're a bunch of veterans and Jasmine Nix.
Yeah. Luis, I always thought that Gigi was just a little too quirky to be Toxic Attraction style or Fatal Influence style, because that's based. Fatal Influence is definitely the spiritual successor to Toxic Attraction. It's basically the same gimmick. I like what Gigi is doing more with Tatum and Shotzi than if she feels like she fits more in almost like a counterculture, like I'm not gonna obey your rules, and Toxic Attraction is all about they're mean girls. They fit into society's norms of what popular girls are supposed to be, but they're mean, as opposed to what they're doing with Tatum and Shotzi, which is that they are on the fringes of society. And I think that suits Gigi more. That's me.
I feel like in a lot of popular girl groups, there is usually one alternative weirdo who just is also attractive and fits in, and they keeping them around. But I agree with you as far as consistency. I also think Tatum benefits from having Gigi more than Fatal Influence would benefit from having Gigi. I think it's a better use of her just from the value add perspective.
Yes.
But I mean, it is just with how much they've never gotten the women's tag division right ever. It'll never be the most perplexing NXT non-call up. It's just very odd, but
yeah, agreed. So we'll see where this goes with Thea. You know what I mean? I could see her getting a TV world title match, but I feel like this division has passed her by. Her having matches where she pushed Rox but then lost is one thing, but now if she might be one to benefit the most from what everybody is telling me is going to happen. They're calling up Stephanie, they're calling up Julia, they're calling up Roxanne, they're calling up Jordan Grace, they're calling them all up. I'm okay, well, once those are all gone, now somebody's got to step up into in that area, and Thea Hale certainly would benefit from that.
I could also see her doing like more work in the TNA partnership just for the breathing room and the
Yes,
experience. I
for
think that would be a
sure.
really good place for her to maybe lock in for a little bit. I don't know what this Chase U reboot is, but it doesn't feel like she's a part of it very much. Like it feels like she's
No,
graduated.
she's moved past.
Yeah,
Like she says, I'm a proud alumni,
alum, basically.
but
Yeah.
I'm not going back into that. So at least she's got at
She
least the
well, but
cocaine.
it is
At least the cocaine didn't rot her brain that badly. She knows where she should be going, and it ain't to chase you.
well, she's a grown ass woman, Alex, and
Yeah.
she should go to TNA and feud with Alicia Edwards over Eddie Edwards' theme, obviously.
Yeah, also Jambeard, in honor of Noam Dar, who is the Champagne Supernova. Beverages, superheroes, space.
Nailed it.
You could pick one or all three. It is a wild card. It's a grab bag, but only for those three topics. Thank you.
That's it.
So okay, Jambeard says that Chemical X is way better than Toxic Attraction, and I forgot entirely that the Taters and Gigi and Shotzi call themselves Chemical X. I forgot that they call themselves that.
I didn't remember that either.
There you go.
But I like it.
Yes, I think it's fun. I'm not gonna talk about that thing right now. I'm gonna talk about something else. They showed highlights of Tavion Heights and Charlie Dempsey at Bloodsport, and then it was
excellent match.
And then it was Ren and Miles watching the footage of it and being like, "Hey, why didn't you go to Bloodsport?" I don't know. They didn't ask me, and I felt like that was really sad because it was like, "Oh,
but they say F me for, yeah."
I know. But then here comes Dork State, Fart State to be like, we don't like you or whatever. And like when my boys get back from Bloodsport, where was Bloodsport?
Also in Vegas.
Was it? It was also in Vegas, and they're currently in Vegas.
Still going on. It's not a 72-hour Bloodsport marathon.
When they get back, we're gonna take you guys on. And Javon is like, I'll do it right now. Like, you can't do that by yourself. I'll help him, says Miles. It's two of us against two of you guys. And I was like, okay, so yeah, when they get back from Bloodsport, then it's on. And then during this match, Charlie Dempsey and Tavion Heights watched from the ramp. And I was like, they're already back. They didn't leave because they're in the same city as you. Did you think that you passed out and got put on a flight to Orlando? And that's where you are, Miles. And when they get back from Vegas, then they're going to help you out. Why? That was a really weird choice of words to then have them literally standing at ringside to watch him lose. I mean, he looked fantastic in this, by the way. Miles Borden is really, really talented in the ring. Javon Evans is otherworldly. I liked seeing Dion and Osiris. I think that's a really cool tag team. Like, you could absolutely interest me in those guys being the ones to beat Hank and Tank. If we're deciding that Swipe Right needs to keep swiping in Evolve, but like absolutely these two dudes could be the ones for sure.
They're great. Charlie Dempsey also, his look, he either looks 17 or 45. Like when he has they're in Vegas, he's got like an old West mustache going on. It's just, it's funny. Like he looks like such a baby without it. And I like this look for him. He looks like a mat brawler. Really good stuff at Bloodsport. That whole event was so awesome. I was so happy for Natalia. I loved Gabe Kidd and Josh Barnett himself. CSJ and Gresham was obviously awesome. So that whole show was really fun. If anybody is interested in it, I would recommend it. Karrion Kross, doing the best work of his life right now on every front. I I feel like, and this is something that I feel like every wrestling program that even attempts stables runs into. It's like, how do you do stories collectively about you that aren't about dissension or aren't about numbers games? That's like tough. That's
don't.
honestly like it's a
They
tough
don't.
challenge. Um
Yeah.
and right now it just feels like we have a lot of that. And part of that's honestly just the time of the year. Like you just got off your biggest show, you're starting new stories, you're starting new things. But when the other side of the show they imply someone got murdered, your dissension kind of looks like chumps.
Right.
But I think it was just the them watching down the ramp thing that looked so the way it was presented was just kind of odd of like,
yeah.
I'm gonna sit here and not do anything while you lose.
Right. I mean, were they upset that he was teaming with Javon?
That's what I
don't know.
That's
Also,
kind of how I took it, but it was also just it's always weird when people stand at the top of the ramp to observe something. It's like, why do you watch backstage or go be at ringside? Like, why are you just loitering? You creeps.
They got one more week before I start getting on them seriously. Javon was in one of the greatest triple threats I'll ever see. In the main event of Stand and Deliver, best match of the weekend. Second best if you liked Io and Rhea and Bianca more, and I won't argue with you. World title. Pushed him to the world title. He happened to be wandering by a conversation involving Miles Bourne and got a tag match tonight. Like, that is way too far down the mid card from what he was on Saturday. Like, I did think that there was going to be the first real thing that he was going to do post that was get into a basically like, why don't you leave your boys behind, Saquon? Just you and just me. And Saquon still beats him. And it becomes like this mountain he's got to climb. Like, maybe that's still what we're going, but it just felt like he was the other guy in the match with Miles Bourne because of the Miles Bourne got them the match, and also Charlie Dempsey and Tavion were watching. So, like, you have to build on that amazing job of you did and he did of making it feel like he was necessary in that triple threat. And then he showed the hell out during it. So you got to figure out a way to keep him just below the main event if he ain't in it. You can't drop him way down here. He's got to be right underneath.
There were some things today where it's on me because I don't think NXT after Mania is supposed to be like Raw after Mania, but I kind of had expectations because Stand and Deliver was so great that it might be. But there were some things on this that felt like they were just put together for the sake of getting talent on the card. Like I don't think that's Javon Evans's next story and feud, maybe, or whatever. Like, it should probably be with Dark State, but I don't think he's like gonna suddenly be buddy with these guys. I will say Miles Bourne has been showing out a lot lately. Like he's really, really fun to watch. Like very, very impressive wrestler. But I agree with you. And Oba's promo later kind of indicated like that guy should be having very intentional reps at the top of the card, et cetera, et cetera. So, so we'll see. I kind of had higher hopes for what might be his follow-up too. Like, if it were me, I just wouldn't have put him on the show today unless I was putting him in something that was like mega showcasey type stuff or whatever. So, but it's also like these guys just went to war a couple days ago. They might be tired. I
kind of expected him to be able to have some time to himself in the ring to talk about where he wants to go next, because, like, you know, that was an amazing experience for him to be in there and do that thing. And then I thought he was going to get interrupted by Dark State and Saquon especially. Like, we ain't here to beat you up. We ain't here to take you out. If we were, you'd already be out. I wanted to talk to you because I don't know if you remember me, but like, because I absolutely believe Saquon should. I would watch some of his promos. I believe he would nail that, and he anyone who knows their history would find it like absolutely delicious, and anybody who doesn't would be immediately intrigued.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, basically, like, I wanted to pick up where we left off You know what I mean? And I that would be a really cool thing of like when we were attacking everybody, I made sure that I laid in some extra hard ones on you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing would be excellent. Like
I agree with that. That would be a really fun direction to go. And I also would like to see Saquon get the mic a little bit more. Just in general so far, because it's like they're here now. Like it's not just mystery attacks. Like they've had matches now. So like let's pull him front and center in the way that it feels like this group was designed to make him. And go on from there. But the match itself, there was some really fun work, and like Miles and Javon had some fun chemistry because of the types of wrestlers they are. Like the things that cross over about them are very fun, and the things that are different about them are very different. So I had a lot of fun watching it.
Dark say sorry, Jambeard says, is Miles Bourne the one who looks like a young Randy? Yes. If so, I'd have him go to the main roster and join Seth's Evolution 2.0 to fill in Randy's spot, the new Dangerous Alliance. I wouldn't hate him being there as well because, like, obviously Paul Heyman gets to cut all the promos for them.
Yeah,
like, he'd be really good, and he'd look amazing, and he would be the guy who eats pins, so Braun doesn't have to get to take pins. But
let's do this for fun right now. Top 3 NXT call-up pin eater options. Lightning round. Or not lightning round. You can think on it.
We talked about Briggs last night, and they did do a thing tonight where Inamura says he's going back to Japan soon, so Briggs got nothing to do. So, like, I think he'd be great as a big boy, just a bruiser who like throws people around the ring, but is the guy who's going to eat the pin in those matches. Like that, I think he would be really good at it. I think that Heyman would love being like, look at him. You know what I mean? Like he'd do one of those things. I think that'd be fun. But I think Miles Bourne would be really great because he would impress a lot of people with how great he is as a wrestler.
You had said yesterday
was the third one.
Yeah, I kind of almost I was thinking about this earlier, and I almost reneged on it because I'm like, I don't know if I want him as a pin eater. Like I think he might be a little, but I wouldn't hate it. You know what I mean? But I think he might outkick the coverage of what that role is. But I really do like the call of Briggs being a possibility there. We'll talk about that segment later too.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying Ethan Page. I would love for him to go up, but I think Ethan's too good of a talker and an individual act to have him get absorbed into that.
Luis is saying Ethan Page and Fraxium, and like, no, and fuck no. Why? No, I don't know. Why would they? I have no idea why they would bring in little guys. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's not what this stable doesn't need. Little fast guys. They need big destroyers.
I'm gonna say it's a great idea because I miss Luis and just want him to mod again. So everything he says is right as far as I'm concerned.
And also, I like the idea of Ethan Page, but he's too good of a talker.
He's, what's with Ethan Page too? Like, he's not just too good of a talker. He's also too good of an in-ring worker that he shouldn't be a pin eater. Like, I get the temptation. Sure. I get the temptation, but I feel like he's such a good one-man act that I wouldn't put him in a stable if he's not leading it.
Yeah. And Reese also extending it to AAA. DMT Azul, who is a person I don't know. Who can also be the Ric Flair spot too as the grizzled, meaty veteran. I feel like Paul Heyman kind of fills that role because he's the old I don't need there wasn't a manager in Evolution. There was Ric Flair. And I didn't want to watch Ric Flair wrestle then either. It's the same thing I don't want to watch Paul Heyman wrestle now. So yeah.
Good on that front.
Yeah. But yes, I think that Miles Bourne could do very well there.
It's a shame that he's not in AEW with Christian Cage because they could be born again Christians.
You proud of yourself?
I'm so proud of myself. Okay. Alex, I'm very tired. I can't emphasize enough how tired I am.
You know who also is very tired, apparently? Ava, who was fooled by the worst fake crying I've ever seen.
I low-key loved everything about this. Okay. I find Inamura so charming that I was just like,
yeah,
got him. You got him, Inamura.
yeah. He. Well, I'm going. I feel like people disrespect you. And
Yeah, he basically says like his excursion's ending, right? That's where this all
yeah,
kind of.
I just wanted to I'm leaving, and we got so close to the tag titles, and we didn't win, and then he fake cries, I guess, and then Briggs comes in like, "Hey man, are you okay?" It's like, "Oh no, you hey, next week tag title touch for you guys, okay?" He's okay. Okay? I'm leaving now. And I was like, so he cried to make her.
He was like, I'm leaving, and we got so close to winning the tag
Right.
titles, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then she gave him the title shot, and
Right.
then when Briggs came
Yeah.
in, like, smirked. He was like,
Right.
ha, 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 I got her.
And then again, I mean, I wish I could give this company and the writers for this company the benefit of the doubt. But they're like, what was that all about? Ancient Japanese secret. Japanese cry and get their way? That's weird. Also, the trope is ancient Chinese secret. And I'm sorry that I can't trust this company to not be making an all Asians are the same joke. I'm sorry I can't trust this company to do that. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt because
Wait,
look
you
what
mean
they're
this
doing on the main
company?
roster.
This company who announced the acquisition of Triple A and had Chad Gable beat their new star in Ray Phoenix?
I wish I could give them the benefit of the doubt, but I can't. Ultimately, it is an entirely throwaway segment so that Briggs and Inamura can be the first people to lose to Hank and Tank. That's fine.
Inamura was very clever and charming. Don't listen to Alex. But Alex, they got so close.
Yeah.
And they couldn't fully get there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if that's a problem for you.
You dealing with a nosy mailman all up in your business about what you're ordering, what you're getting? Well, don't worry about it with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. It ships discreetly. Discreetly. Fortunately for you, because the mailman's going to want to know what's going on. He's going to be delivering that mail to your house. He's going to hear all these sounds. He's going to be like, what's going on there? Well, I don't know, because this package doesn't say anything, but I have a feeling the package in there is saying something, and it will be, because of BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Helps get you that main event performance and confidence. And you get your first shipment free when you go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL. Like I said, same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but much more affordable and in a chewable. Take their online quiz, and then when approved, it ships straight to your door. My gosh. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Mind your own business, mailman.
Yeah, mailman. Mind your own damn business.
Mind your own damn business.
But you know what I don't mind, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Scoops. Don't mind them one bit. Do you mind
No,
a
I don't
wrestling
mind
scoop?
I don't mind scoops. No, like from the ice cream scoops. I love ice cream.
Oh, I was talking wrestling news scoops.
Oh, that's even better.
You can get them for the best $5.99 in the biz on FightfulSelect.com. We had scoops all weekend. We're gonna have more coming up. Sean was like, I am locked in this week. He's got a lot going on this week. So expect follow-ups. On WWE Unreal, the whiteboard had like the WrestleMania plans.
Mm-hmm.
Sean had info on all of the matches that were supposed to be and the changes and stuff. So keep an eye out on Fightful Select for stuff like that. But Miro's return, Chelsea Green not being on the card, lots of stuff on Fightful Select this weekend. More to come as well. We also have a Q&A show back there, which was hopping. Sean did 3 bonus ones of those Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of this week. And we got a Discord server. So if you love the community that we got cooking over here, we have our own free Discord. But there's like-minded normal wrestling fans that you can talk to in that Discord server as well. So hang out with us, support original reporting, get it first and get it accurately on FightfulSelect.com. Fightful is better than ice cream. Well, We might run into legal issues saying that, but thank you. That's very nice of you, Andy Brown.
Jambeard says Fraxium makes sense, or at least Nathan Fraser does, since Seth trained him. Seth could also use it as a shot against Punk, saying he's a better trainer than Punk. No. Why are we bringing up Fraxium, this amazing, super fast and talented babyface tag team, to break them up, perhaps, and just put Fraser in here, or turn them heel? Like, just put them in the ladder match on Friday and have them win it. Just do that.
I just want him to mod again.
Okay. Well, that wasn't even him. That was Jambeard. So.
Oh, that was Jambeard. Okay, Jambeard. Then I'll no. Unless you're gonna start modding for us for free.
Oh God, I can't put it off any longer, Kate. Oba Femi came out and he was awesome. This promo after that win was phenomenal.
It was.
Like he says, I took their dreams and I turned them into dust and lit them on fire and burned them into ashes. And then
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, it's they're very different things. I took their dreams and I burned them into dust, turned them into dust, lit them on fire, burned them into ashes, and then I woke them up.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Great. And then he seriously put over Javon.
Yes, I really liked that he did
in a way that makes me think this is the perfect thing for Javon to cling to in their future battles. Like you say, I don't deserve a title shot, Oba, but when we did that triple threat, you said some awful nice things about me. That sounded like you thought I might deserve a title shot. Like one of those things can be really cool. I like that they bring that up. I also love that he put over Trick Williams by saying, I am done with Trick Williams. Like he
yes.
he did a good job of like being like, this guy's good, but he's not as good as me. And now I'm done with him. And of course, Trick comes out. And this was everything that I thought it would be. Trick didn't get pinned. Javon got pinned. Trick keeps saying, you cannot get past me without beating me one-on-one. Otherwise, I'm not going away. And that makes perfect sense. That is how this should play out. And you can literally do that match next week because Trick's not winning it. Like,
right.
Or if you have no plans for Trick to be called up until the draft, you can wait until May or whatever to do it either. That's all fine. That makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of people are like, I don't want to see Trick versus Oba again. Well, technically, you never saw it. You saw triple threats involving Trick Williams. You didn't see what was the biggest star in NXT for the last year and a half versus the ruler, the monster of NXT. You never saw that one-on-one
proper.
So that's part of a thing. That's part of the contractual obligation that they have with their viewers to show us that once before it's all said and done. That all makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is Joe Hendry. What does it have to do with any of this? What's
I was okay, so Oba was great, and I had the same thought about that being fodder in the future because Javon's been killing it at the young OG side of what he does, of like when he called Trick Williams Carmelo Hayes. Like he clocks people and he picks things that like kernels of wisdom for a guy at his age, he pulls out of people.
Yes.
To enhance the battles that he's in.
Yes.
And I feel like with Oba, that was like, here's the softball. You can hit it out of the park in a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever. Yeah. So really, really, really liked how much he put over Javon. He was like, man, I didn't think it, but that kid is as good as advertised. Mm-hmm. And you're right. He put over Trick Williams by being like, and I'm done with that guy. Like he gave me a run for my money and I'm done with that dude. Nope. Mm-hmm. He's not coming back for a one-on-one match. Not on my clock. Not in this economy. He's just does everything right. Like he was so sincere in his delivery. And I said it on the Stand and Deliver post show, a big guy that feels not rattled is just like the most commanding fun thing in wrestling. Like Gunther is that way when he was Walter and was like a big guy. He was that way. Samoa Joe's that way. Like instead of the yelling at a control angry guy, like that guy who's constantly in control of things is so great to me. The Joe Hendry thing, whether you like him or not, is confusing because you don't like him. Here's the other thing. I don't think anyone said his name, so I didn't appreciate that he appeared.
Man, all it requires for it to be, I don't know, a million times better, it'd still be bad for me, is for somebody to mention his name. And then his music hits. That's the rule. Say his name and he appears. And like
there is no order if nobody says his name.
Yeah.
It is chaos.
If you don't,
he just appears without people saying his name. He
can't appear. He's basically Beetlejuice, but you only have to say it once.
Say my name or don't. It doesn't matter. I appear in Joe Hendry.
Whether or not you say my name is inconsequential. I believe in Joe Hendry.
There's an order to how the universe works, and if Joe Hendry's gonna appear, someone has to say his name. So that's immediately out for me. The other thing is, the right thing was done in that he got called out for getting squashed as TNA by Trick Williams.
Yeah, eventually. The first thing he says, I made it all the way to WrestleMania. And everyone's like, yay, Joe! I was like, yeah, well, you got squashed in 3 minutes. And then he goes, and then Trick was like, you had your 5 minutes. He only had his 3 minutes, honestly, Trick.
This is what I said on social media. I was like, he should have said, you had your 5 minutes and you couldn't even last 3.5 of it or whatever. I was like, it was right there.
Something like that. You had your 5 minutes. Well, actually, you had your 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But he's like, I was like, yeah, but I did it in front of 60,000 people. It's like, so you got humiliated in front of more people, and that's better.
With your TNA title on.
With your TNA, you wore your TNA title to the ring, and you couldn't last 3.5 minutes with a guy who hasn't been champ in how many years? You know what I mean?
Well, and on top of that, I felt like it was, if he had said, look, I lost in less than 3.5 minutes, that's true, but I lost to Randy Orton, the guy's legacy, and then highlighted all the insane things about Randy Orton. Like, that's right there.
Fine,
why he chose to, it was weird that he little brothered the pay-per-view that NXT had.
Why do you want to be on this show right now, Joe? If the show that they were on Saturday is
show of the
so
year,
small.
yeah. Poorly written, poorly written all
small
around.
Potatoes over here. Why do you want to do that?
And also, everyone that I saw that was excited about him being there was like, and then Ethan Page comes out.
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay, no. And here comes Ethan Page because they've got this big match Sunday on Rebellion. If you're TNA,
he mentioned he was defending the title at Rebellion this Sunday, but did not say against whom.
He's literally in the back. I was like, if he's just not on the episode, that justifies it. But he's waiting for Ricky Starks in the back, so that made no damn sense. And I know TNA is thrilled. FightfulSelect.com had the story that TNA is not upset that their champion got squashed because they got exposure to WWE's literal biggest audience, which I understand. But you do got to start to question the partnership a little bit on stuff like that, right? Like, why is he not appearing with Ethan Page on screen to tout the Rebellion pay-per-view? That's so weird. That's so weird, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was not a good segment. Like, your feelings on Joe Hendry aside, like him being like, yeah, what, for this chump brand that I'm on right now and the babyface on right now?
Yeah.
Like, what? No.
I don't know.
It's weird. Weird.
Jambeard saying the local hero, Joe Hendry. And then Jambeard says, see, I agree with Joe Hendry. This wasn't a humiliation of him or TNA. I know Busted Open sucks, but Joe's been on a great way on there. Well, guess what I'm never going to hear is anything on Busted Open. But yeah, I don't agree. I should have done agree. If he had a great 8-minute match with Randy Orton, fine. Like, It was a 3-minute glorified squash.
I was okay with it because he didn't just get like, I think what he said, and I can understand this point of view, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
He got caught off guard by the environment of WrestleMania, and Randy RKO'd him, and it's the 3 most dangerous letters in sports, Alex.
Right,
I don't know if you hear it.
I know about the letters.
You're familiar with have you heard of the
letters?
letters?
I'm familiar with the letters and the dangerousness therein. Yes.
Alex, have you heard of the RKO before? Let me tell you about the RKO. There's this Randy Orton guy. This Randy Orton fella. You know the Randy Orton?
I've heard of him. Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's got this this move called the RKO, and the guy just, you never see it coming because he can hit it from any angle. Wish I could hit it from any angle. You know what I mean? Oh. I was being an edgy late night host.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I can understand there being a story there. Like, a squash to me is a guy he's a chump because he gets smushed very quickly. Like, it was 3 minutes and 10 minutes. It was a glorified squash, but you saw him be like dazzled by the lights and then get RKO'd. Like, I'm fine with that part of it.
Jambeard says Joe literally took 80% of the match. Oh, is that why it sucked? He's the most 5 out of 10 wrestler I've ever seen in my life.
Took 80% of the match, meant that he got that offense in?
Yeah, he got offense in for 80% of the match.
I mean, I'm glad that they let him get offense in, but he still lost in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But
he still lost in 3 minutes.
Says,
I believe, clap, clap. LOL. Yes, I laughed out loud too when I thought anybody would believe.
I mean, more than the Orton match, it's the consistent booking of Joe Hendry being bad at wrestling on TV. NXT didn't do him any favors in the way he was booked in the Battle Royal and the 4-way and stuff. Like, it's just odd that he's like their most over guy and he doesn't pick up wins anytime he's around.
Right. Luis also, this is very funny. He said, blame Trick Williams. He said to Oba, I ain't no average Joe. And Joe Hendry is like, did somebody say average Joe? That's me. I'm Joe, and I'm very average. Somebody say my name. I believe in Joe Hendry. That's what happened, apparently. Yeah, so they have a back and forth with Trick Williams, and then both he and Oba punch Trick Williams, and Trick Williams rolls to the outside, and Oba and Joe Hendry have a stare down for some match later that I'm going to be forced to watch.
I wonder which show that will. It's so hard because TNA has specials every 3 days.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They're not doing this here to get a pop for a rating on NXT. I have no doubt that Oba will be over there to sell whatever, to help push and shill the match that's happening on an episode of NXT, but I still don't know when that's going to be. They usually do one of the named things between PLEs. So maybe somewhere in the first week, maybe sometime around Backlash, they'll do a named episode of NXT and he'll fight him there. But,
Yeah, I don't think that's a battleground program. I doubt it.
I did love that when he showed up, says, think about what you are doing. You do not want to end up like Moose. And I was like, yeah, think about what you're doing, Joe. This is not going to be if Randy Orton took care of this dude in 3 minutes, then Oba's going to end him in 45 seconds. And if the match is longer than that, then I'm going to be really upset.
It's tough because it's champion versus champion too. I don't get it.
Yeah. Jambeard, you're going to have to up the stakes of this. This is no. It's punishment for Alex's Joe hate. You mean my correct assessment of the abilities and entertainment value of a professional wrestler? My hate, meaning that? Alex to sing in as many voices as he can do Joe Hendry's theme. Okay, fine. Fine, I'll do it.
I'm here for a Linder Joe Hendry rendition.
Mhm.
Just
That'll be
because
fun.
she's
I'll do
such a
that.
legend on the John
do
Cena
that.
do's.
I'll do that. So we had two short films that were on the show, and these are excellently shot. Okay, wonderfully put together. This is a Jeremy Borash type thing, right?
Insane.
You know what I mean? Like
Insane
it's just
production value.
I mean, like really, really good stuff. Out in the middle of literally nowhere in the desert. Stack's waiting for Luca shows up. There are all these cool camera angles. Like it's all really done. Well, and honestly, both Stax and Luca, I thought, nailed this scene too.
They really both did.
They really both did. I love the moment of Stax being like, you ever know who's listening? Well, I mean, that's like if you're in a house that might be bugged. If you're in the middle of the desert, the bugs are less likely unless they literally put a camera on a bug that is flying.
I was just gonna say it's Vegas. They might be bugging the bugs.
It says, so Luca, you know, hey, ask yourself, why did I ask you out here specifically? And then Luca looks at him and goes, oh fuck, and then they cut to black. Like he realizes he got had. I mean, that's the implication that by coming all the way out here, ain't nobody knows where you are, ain't nobody knows where to look for you. Basically, I could kill you right now.
Yeah.
Like I got one of my guys who's loyal to me with a rifle up behind that cactus. You're done. You know what I mean? I thought that there's something that was interesting about that. Now this, again, as a fully shot and edited, like short film that then can be commented on by by Vic and Corey and Booker, as though it is a real life happening that has just taken place. And then we see later where we have him say, oh, I don't know what happened to Luca. I'm very concerned about Luca. Hey, we have another clip. And it's like Tony D walking through a hotel hallway, knocking on a door, and Big Ange looking through like, were you followed? It's me. Come on, let me in. So they have this whole thing like, I'm packing, I'm trying to go home or whatever, but I'm really scared. I don't like, where's Luca? Have you heard from him? No, I thought I was with you. Nobody's heard from him for a couple of hours. Like he said, he had to go clear his head. So like the commentators are commenting on the disappearance of Luca, and but the people who are in this scene don't know that happened. So
right,
it's like I love this kind of thing, but it belongs on a Lucha Underground type show where like those little scenes that they do aren't like supposed to be known by everybody. They're supposed to be known by the people who were in the scenes. So it was really well done, but it blurs that line so much between this is a movie we're making and this is a wrestling TV show that the line is just so smudged. It's just so blurry and smudged.
I'm so okay with it with this.
It was really good. Really good.
I love that Tony was like, he because he's a mob boss and the one that got turned on, he gets to be a smart baby face because you can't be a dumb mob boss when you're the Don, right? Like I love that he went to Rizzo, whose mom was Big Ange in the most heartbreaking retcon of all time.
She says, when Big Ange was bullying me, is Big Ange her mom or is Big Ange another girl that they went to school with? When Big Ange was bullying me, Stax taught me how to fight. She made me cry once, but then I made her cry.
It must be somebody that's at school because she also said like you guys have known each other since kindergarten, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was her mom because she's Big Ange.
Yeah.
But I love that he was like, it happens. Like he had this weird acceptance around it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he was also like, that means you're probably in danger, so
We
you
gotta
can't go home.
we gotta go to war. You
Yeah.
can't go. You
To
can't go
the
home.
mattresses, he said.
We gotta go to the mattresses, which is just awesome. We gotta take this thing to the mattresses. But he says you can't go home. He'll be watching your house. He says an NXT wrestler says I got a safe house you can stay at. Like, it's funny how much that this kind of gimmick would make me friggin' insane if it was not so well acted, written, and shot all the time. Like,
Well,
it
I think
really
he's a
is,
mob boss
honestly.
that chooses to wrestle. You know what I mean?
It is so silly because he isn't. According to the thing, he's the son of a mob family who, according to him in canon, was sent to NXT because that's where the real money is.
That's right. I
That's
forgot.
why it's so silly. Because it's like, no, NXT, let me tell you, is not where the real money is. I've heard interviews from people who have left NXT. That is not where the real money is, sir. I'm pretty sure if you were on the indies and you took that hot dog that you got with a handshake and sold it on the street, you'd make more money than you would at NXT. Okay.
It comes close. It's about even.
So yeah. But it is very funny to me how all of this just lines up so perfectly with the story that they're telling here with all of this. And then we're gonna get Stax and Tony D'Angelo face to face next week. I think that the most likely swerve is that Luca was convinced to go with Stax, to be on Stax's side. That was the swerve. Is that I brought you out here to convince you to join me instead, and he did. And also, Ange was in on it from the very beginning, and this whole thing with Tony being sent to a safe house or whatever, all that, like, she was just trying to read him so she could report back to Stax about how much he knows. I think that the entire family has turned against Tony D'Angelo. And this is the thing that I have thought of. I think it would require, obviously, a gimmick change, maybe even like a little bit of a cosmetic change. Maybe the ponytail goes and like he shaves the beard or something. But a repackaged Tony D, because let's be honest, this gimmick really wouldn't make it on the main roster. A repackaged Tony D for the new Dangerous Alliance.
Oh, damn.
I mean, he's done everything he possibly can in NXT. That we've seen that
his
dude.
ring style as that guy in the Dangerous Alliance would be incredible.
We've seen this
incredible.
dude tossing suplexes, giant spine busters. He's a great hot tag. Like this, like Seth with Braun and Tony D. He didn't need a fourth guy. That's the only guys he needs. Like, those dudes would just wreck shop in it. They're immediately the new tag champs. They're just like, they'd wreck shop together. They'd be so great. Obviously, we know he can talk or whatever, but he doesn't need to for a little while. Paul Heyman, honestly, he's really, really good. And I don't want to see him fail because nobody at large will take the gimmick seriously. So call him up, repackage him, put him there. Like, honestly, I think it would really work.
I like your idea a lot. I was thinking that maybe Luca gets beat to a pulp, but they find him. Like that,
Right.
that Tony and Ange go find him. But I think you're right in that the family has to turn, and maybe Tony D is going up sooner than later as a singles wrestler.
If the entire family turns against him, it's a great way to write him out of NXT, and then he can show up on the main roster.
He could get whacked. He could be sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.
Is Stax trying to imply that Tony D would be an informant against the mob? This could go so many different ways, and I want to see all of them play out.
Me too. Yeah. It's interesting.
That could be fun.
Nona says, let's face it, Heyman is already mobbed up. Let's put him with Tony. Perfect. Great.
I do think there was something with the hug with Ange where he, like, at the very end of it, he had like this wistful look.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's a pace ahead of the turn on that, but I also, the way he was looking down, I was like, is he looking to see if she's bugged? Because he's so good at telling stories with his eyeballs and his facial expressions. It's wild.
Ryan Chikini says, can't believe Big Ange was a bully all along. No, Sean is watching our show and he is trying to deliberately Mandela affect us. No, he doesn't watch our show, but HBK does. HBK watches our show and he is trying to deliberately Mandela affect us. That no, it wasn't Big Ange. Big Ange was a different person. The hell it was. It was always this woman was always Big Ange. You can't just now, okay, Big Ange is a different person. No. This is Big Ange. Unless somehow this is a Fight Club situation and Adriana Rizzo was beating the hell out of Big Ange, who was also Adriana Rizzo.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Alex, there's a lot of money that's dirty money exchanged in these kinds of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you want the thrill, but you want to go about it the right way, you don't have to have like a bookie that you're shaking down and intimidating.
No, you don't do that. No.
You can just actually go right online at BetOnline AG.
I want to talk to you guys about our great partner at BetOnline AG. Yes, the place that lets you bet on pro wrestling. We've gotten our pro wrestling betting odds from them for years, well before we even worked with them. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. They got the earliest lines, the fastest payout, the industry best bonuses. They've been trusted for 25 plus years because of their safe and secure environment and their quick payouts. But you can bet on pro wrestling. How cool is that? If you think you know more than anybody, go ahead and look at those odds. It's the same ones you've seen on Fightful for years. You might see one that sticks out to you and you go, wait a second, there's no way that person's going to win. Why are they an underdog? Make yourself some money. BetOnline AG. And hey, it doesn't stop there. Whatever sports you want, they got you covered. Popular games like blackjack and roulette, Supernova, Skyward, all that stuff. BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can at BetOnline AG.
You can't shake them down the same way, but you can go about it the right way. You know what I mean? Right. You can bet responsibly over there.
Tim McFall says, R.I.P. Luca, February 21st, 2023 to April 22nd, 2025. He was only 2 years old. He looked really like mature for his age.
He shouldn't be involved in this at all if he's that young, but I just feel bad because this is right in the middle of a legal situation that he is representing Chelsea Green for. You know what I mean? Sad.
She doesn't have a lawyer anymore.
I know Chelsea's going to need a new lawyer. He's
buried in a box in the Nevada desert.
How is she going to get her legal issues resolved? I feel bad. She's out money. She's going to the winner's circle. But she loses by DQ a lot. She's not even going to the pay window. You know what I mean?
Oh my
if she had him on retainer and now that's just gone.
The funniest thing would be if there was a thing that made it to Twitter or the internet or something where it's Chelsea and Alba Fire and Piper out in the desert digging holes, trying to find where they buried him, because she needs a lawyer so she can get out of her title defense versus Zelina. That'd be very funny.
God, Chelsea would crush that too.
Really would. So then, just Ricardo, who hates me personally and is trying to induce a heart attack of some kind, says Tony D is secretly funding Chase U again. That's the big reveal. Well, the big reveal was during the progressive match flow, we saw a guy with a briefcase walking into a room, opening it up, and inside was a sweater with Chase U written on it, and it was Andre Chase. He says, "We're fucking back." Why? How are you back? Is that not didn't you not Welsh on a bet, sir? How are we supposed to root for you if you are a Welsher? You're a Welsher, sir. You Welsh on a bet, sir. I demand action from the Welshing Committee.
Action from the Welshing Committee. Is that a thing?
I don't know, but it should be.
It is. Are you just the Welshing Committee, Alex? Let's be so.
You cannot Welsh on a bet. You can't do it.
Yeah, there's some things that need to get explained next week. Like Noam Dar's got to have his promo. JCU's got to have their why and how are they back thing.
No. You can't bring back a fake university that never should have existed in the first place. How do you close down a university and then open it back up? Did they do another hot co-eds calendar that I didn't hear about?
Well,
is that what they did?
Hopefully they mention that next week. I think Kale Dixon sells kale to, like, it's in big box grocery stores, and he's a part of the kale fortune. And
he's the heir to the kale fortune.
To the kale throne, yeah. So it's him to blame. He gave him that sweet, sweet startup money. Sorry.
Jebby Pringle says, Chase you, where your PhD in thugonomics includes fries. You want fries with that? Yes, there you go. That's it. That's how you get that. Just Ricardo talking about Tim McFall, I guess, says, accusations, false accusations, Tim. You're a Chase lover. Are you a Chase lover, Tim?
Come clean.
Please don't tell me you're a Chase lover, Kim. I couldn't take it. My heart couldn't take it. It's one of the worst gimmicks that's ever existed. They finally got rid of it, and you could have easily moved him on to literally anything else.
Here's the problem. They got rid of Duke Hudson. You can't get rid of Duke Hudson and keep Chase U. One, he's the MVP. Two, that's the wrong order of things. Get rid of Chase U, keep Duke Hudson, and let's all...
No,
I feel like
This is the problem, Tim. Harlem Bravado is a fantastic wrestler. Andre Chase sucks. Like, there's an amazing opportunity for him to be like, I don't know what to do. My university's closed down, and like, but what did you teach there? Like, well, I mean, wrestling history and wrestling, wrestling strategy, wrestling moves. Well, couldn't you just open like a wrestling school? I guess I could. And like make him into a really good wrestling teacher who, like, the story is this guy needs to work on his submission holds, and he comes to Andre Chase who teaches him how to do it. And like, you could make him into something else, something that makes friggin' sense, as opposed to, I run a fake university, which is dumb. It's one of the dumbest things they've ever tried to pawn off on us. But him as a wrestling instructor would make sense. Just make it make sense.
Maybe they will.
No,
maybe they will.
Starting Chase U again.
I know, but like, it might not be Chase U again. Like, maybe they'll do something different with it this time. But I think the problem that people forget that Andre Chase can wrestle is because I think the most recent match that everybody remembers is that ambulance match with Rich Holland that was very bad. It just was not good. But he can wrestle.
His fault. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is fine. So this match, Stephanie versus Roxanne. Roxanne shows up with Julia in tow to take out Io Sky and Stephanie last night, and then Rhea Ripley made the save. So a whole bunch of great stuff that made no sense, basically, was what that is. But Roxanne actually cut a promo that tried to like tie everything up. Like, I was on the Raw after Mania last year because I was the champion. I should still be the champion. So Stephanie is doing that's owed to me. That is my spot. So I want to ruin her spot because that spot should belong to me. I had no idea that Julia had the same idea that I did, but I accepted her help in that little beatdown. That is the first time anybody's ever attempted since last night to explain what the hell that was. That good for you, Roxanne, for trying to actually explain that to us.
In my head, like, NXT Creative saw that happen and went, because they knew that they were going to have to we have to do something. Those two hated each other and now are on the same side.
Yeah. So Roxanne got this match because she was in the Four Corners elimination tag team #1 contenders match with Cora Jade. They had matching gear. They were working really well together. They got the first pinfall of the match. Roxanne herself pinned Lash Legend with an amazing pop rocks. They were doing really well. Roxanne got slightly kicked in the gut and fell through the middle ropes to the outside, and then decided she did not want to be a part of this anymore and left. Cora Jade then got pinned. Then she went backstage and yelled at Stephanie Vaquer. So I want a title match versus you on Tuesday, and Ava's like, fine. I don't like saying no to people, even though I say it to other people all the time. So you can have your title match. Then Cora on social media is like, oh, I am so done with this bitch. And so her walking out on Cora in the way that she did, and then getting this match, and then Cora responding on social media, made it, I thought, a complete certainty that Cora was going to break this up, stop it from ending, ruin it for Roxanne. Stephanie would win, but because Cora did something, and then you would get Roxanne and Cora next week for the last time. And when Roxanne loses to Cora, she gives her farewell speech and moves up. But she just had a match with Stephanie, which was very good because, of course, it's Roxanne and Stephanie, although Stephanie, to be fair, looked tired. She looked very tired.
Yeah, this is the long
and then she's lost clean. She lost clean. So this better be the last time I ever see her on NXT. And also, at the same time, booked into a corner, Shawn Michaels, you're not going to resolve ever her just walking out on Cora Jade in the middle of a tag team elimination #1 contenders match? Just because, for no real reason, not like they were feuding with each other and Cora slapped her and Rock said, you know what? Screw you. I'm leaving. Nothing. No reason to do it. So you did it. And then you're not going to wrap it up in any way. I don't think we should see Roxanne on NXT ever again. And at the same time, she kind of has to be just to wrap up that angle. Otherwise, you're just leaving it hanging out there. Like, why?
This kind of stuff smells like, ironically, the stuff that Vince, it sounded like or seemed like, would do to Triple H, where it would be like, oh, yeah, no, she's great. We want her back. And they're like, well, we just started this program with Cora. Nah, we're going to have her on Raw, though, and come out with other, like, it feels like there's just no communications between creative teams on what's going on. And to me, it feels like you're not going to not use Roxanne. This company doesn't bench people, Alex. You're not going to not use Roxanne. Mm-hmm. So the like at the whim of what happens on the main roster is tough. Because it felt like, okay, we had this thing with Cora that's going on, and then it was like, actually, she's coming to Raw and she's going to explain her actions to fight Steph, and she's going to lose clean. It was weird.
Yes. But good match, and I'm happy Steph won, and now Roxanne can leave and go to do things that are supposed to be done. She could pick up that feud with Bayley. No, because Bayley got laid out by Becky. I don't know. Honestly, don't know what the hell's going on here. But like, by the way, if you haven't seen the Bayley interview with Chris Van Vliet and you want to cry, go ahead and do that. Go ahead, and if you want to cry about how sad it is the way Bayley gets treated and she just soldiers on, yeah, go watch that video. Give yourself a nice little tear-streaked face.
Seeing the presser with Triple H being like, Bayley will be fine, she's a pro, and then seeing her not be fine with it was rough. And I was thinking about this is a little like outside the wrestling pocket, but I think there are certain things when that Natalya in her Bloodsport promo had a couple of really great lines, and one of them was that she was being such a good girl that it kept her from being a great woman. And there's something inherently sometimes female specific about not just social conditions, but social conditions in workplaces where there it just sounded like just the same stuff Karrion Kross was talking about in his promo, but had some truth to it. Like the be a good soldier stuff feels 10 times more when you're a woman, because you should just be thankful you're getting any reps, never mind satisfied with your creative. Just be glad you got TV time. Look at all that we've given you. You used to have 2-minute matches. Like all that kind of stuff is built into you in that environment. And you start to stop asserting your standards because you don't want to upset the apple cart. You don't want to screw over the programs of other women. Right. And it kind of knocked me back a little bit. Both things, both Natalia's promo where she said that, because you see her in Bloodsport and it's an environment thing because it ain't a fucking skill thing. That woman's a badass and her presentation ruled. And that line was from that promo was like kicking around in my head for a while that she said that. And then to hear Bailey say what she said today, I was like, okay, you and your changed culture. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't look it.
I'm saying, oh my OMG, the Bailey interview broke me. I was bawling. Yep.
Yeah. It was rough. It was rough to watch that.
Yeah. It was very sad.
Good job by Chris Van Vliet too, by the way. Just like letting it sit there.
Just
crowd the moment.
Just nudging her just enough that like you can tell she wants to say more, but you don't want to like make her incriminate herself. So it's just like just let it go.
Well, because she said by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
And he was like, that could mean 8 different things. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
but by the time this comes out was because that was taped before we all knew that she was out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But she already knew at that point when she was talking that she knew that they were taking her out of WrestleMania. So like whatever. Cyclops is better than Wolverine says that Chase U is clearly an Ava money laundering scheme. Now Chase U predates Ava by quite a ways, but I could see her taking over the reins of that for sure.
It's getting started again, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Jambeard says it's a very cold take that Joe Hendry is a better wrestler than Jey Uso. I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's an entrance or a song that is super over, and then the bell rings. That's just. For me.
I've seen Joe Hendry do better work than he's done in the WWE sphere.
That's the thing is that he's give him showcases that he would actually can do the things apparently that he does, but yeah, it doesn't happen what I've seen. So, Delgado says, I know this is NXT, but can Kate rant sourly about ROH canceling a pay-per-view 10 days before the show? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
It's upsetting because for months when I was doing the ROH post show, which we no longer do because they don't care about that product, I was just saying week over week how the talent deserved better because the talent do deserve better. Mm-hmm. And I had so many people on like social media and stuff being like, it's developmental, it's bonus stuff. It doesn't really care. The performers, listen, the performers deserve better.
Yes.
And if you're developing people, how is giving them aimless bad? We talk about it on this show. At least they have a separate damn roster. At least they get like they know what they're doing when they show up to work. They know what show they're on. Mm-hmm. My God, like you can't develop someone if you are putting titles on Chris Jericho. And I was so happy for Eddie Kingston in the moment, but Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe and Claudio, and they're not on the program, and you're giving it to Nick Wayne, and no challengers get built up on the program. So what are you developing then? Because you're not telling stories outside of the titles. And then you say, we're going to give them a women's pure title for what? You just let Layla Hirsch walk out the door. Layla Hirsch, and you're introducing, I'm guessing it's for Deanna or Serena. Who cares when you're not telling stories about it? It's an insult to the talent. It's an insult to the people that are paying $9.99 a month, the most expensive subscription service for pro wrestling, that you give so little of a crap about your product that you bought, that there's no build going into it 10 days before, so nobody's buying tickets to it 10 days before. So of course you have to cancel. Yep. Because you haven't given anybody a reason to buy a ticket. And I don't know if it was something else, if it was a conflict with the venue or any of that stuff, but the talent there are excellent. And you look like an idiot. When Ethan Page, who was on that show, walks out those doors and does what he does on NXT. It's ridiculous. No challenger for Lee Moriarty. Athena's obviously in the Owen, so she's been doing other stuff. Like they just don't care. They just don't care. And anytime AEW is off track, it's just a lack of caring.
Yeah.
Anytime NXT is off track, it's because they've over-engineered. Anytime something in AEW is off track, it feels like a lack of caring. It feels like the women's division, anytime it's off track, is because they just stopped caring.
Mm-hmm.
When ROH is parked for a residency, it's great because they have to plan out 8 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever. It's not because the talent can't deliver. It's because you're giving them dog shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happens. You now have to cancel, reschedule a classic pay-per-view because you didn't do your job going into it.
Yep.
It's so exhausting how you would trash one of the most historic brands in wrestling history. It's exhausting.
Luis adding that what makes it extra weird is that Supercard was on the verge of selling out before the cancellation per WrestleTix. So canceling it, moving it, whatever is a weird thing to do when people were already wanting to go to the show.
So people were. Well, they were doing it as a 2-pack with the Collision taping too, which is why. So maybe it was a venue thing. I don't know what the hell it was, but maybe they realized they didn't build anybody for it. I don't know. Inexcusable.
Yeah. Chambers says, non-wrestling question. If you ever look to see what famous people were born or died on your birthday, because mine now has the deaths of Mark Twain, Mini-Me, Prince, and now the Pope. Wow, that's a lot of death.
Does that was that your low-key way of telling us it was your birthday? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday yesterday, I guess.
I think Sinatra and Cardona were born on mine. I think. Or Sinatra died on mine?
I never remember. I always look it up and then forget immediately afterwards. Luis says, I shared birthdays with my favorite soccer player, N'Golo Kante, Doc Hendricks, of all people, and I learned last year that also Stephanie Vaquer.
No kidding. There you go.
There you go. And then Tom Lavallee says, I've been thinking about AEW mixed tag teams all day. Yes, there was floated that they might do a mixed tag tournament, the mixed match challenge, but AEW style. Kenny Omega said they would thought about doing that. It's been floated at points.
So the article I saw
ideas.
There were ramblings of it, and I was like, wait, ramblings or rumblings? Because those are two very different things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So let's just do our puns. Me again. In honor of Noam Dar, who is the Champagne Supernova, beverages, superheroes, space. Here we go. Meet Norma says Wonder Walls of Jericho. And Danger Juice Robinson. Danger Juice Robinson.
I love that one.
Orion Ben says Meteora Suzuki Soul. Alicia Spolks.
That's a really good one.
And Solar Ruka.
Nice.
C. Delgado says Dr. Pepper, Steve Williams. Not Dr. Death, but Dr. Pepper. And Big Boss Rocket Man.
Very nice.
Dom DeValley says Nyla Rose. Sensational Syrah.
Very nice.
Noam Darjeeling Tea. Lieutenant Photo says Sangria Ripley. And Hot Cocoa D. Rhodes.
Sangria Bloody Ripley. That's a good one.
Lieutenant, if your sangria is bloody. Lieutenant Photo says Jimmy and Jay Pluto.
That's very good.
Meet Norma says Hot Cocoa Beware. Jake the Snake Juice Roberts. Stone Cold Space Austin. Bam Bam Bigelow T. Penta El Cerro Macha. Will Ocean Spray. Randy Macchiato Savage. And Gravity. That's for space. Gravity.
Ocean Spray got me. The cranberry juice.
Says Fanta El Cerro Miedo. Wheatley's Yuta and Cactus Jack Daniels. Jambeard says the Sprite Squad. The Sprite Squad, formerly Dolph Ziggler. Zack Super Jr.
Very
Zack
nice.
Sabre Jr. Zack Super Jr. Bam Bam Barksilo. Bam Bam Barksilo. Barks Rupert.
Very
Techo
nice.
Tang 2000. Techno Tang 2000. And
Nice.
this one is better to look at than to say out loud. Santana and Orbits. Not Santana and Ortiz, but Santa and Orbits.
Very nice.
Jambeard says, pick a papa pump. Electric Mayhem
Okay.
says, Sanjay Delight, the purple stuff Mortos. And
Very
Electric
nice.
Mayhem says, Coca-Cola freestyle, NXT, and Shasta McKenzie.
Very nice. Very nice.
We were talking earlier, very recently, about the difference between rumblings and ramblings. Speaking of ramblings, Paw Pulowski sings Burnin' Love by Elvis.
I love that for us.
This was sent in by Louisville during at the very tail end of Stand and Deliver, but we didn't get to it, so we're doing it now.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising. Higher and higher, it's burning through to my soul. Girl, you're gonna set me on fire. My brain is flaming. I don't know which way to go. Your kisses lift me higher, like a sweet song of a choir. You light my morning sky with burning love. Ooh, I feel my temperature rising. Help me, I'm flaming and must be 109. Burning. Nothing can cool me. I just might turn into smoke, but I feel fine. 'Cause your kisses lift me higher, like a sweet song of a choir, and you light my morning sky with burning love. What?
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I'll do that one later. Just Ricardo says Linda does Chase Our Love by Goldberg. As in Chase You, I suppose. Chase Our Love by Goldberg.
You do a Goldberg impression?
Chasing love. Goldberg, don't get me started on him. Chasing love. Jump on a boat. There she goes. Down Canal du Midi. Chasing the water as it flows. Chasing. Catching on love up above while the fire's burning. Think back to when we had it all. Over the hilltops. Chasing love. Run as the rain pours. Chasing love. Say that you want more. Chasing love. Follow your heart. Let's chase our love again. Chase our love again. Let's chase our love again.
I love
I
that.
don't know. I don't like chasing anything. I don't like moving fast. It's tough on my joint.
No, that's a young person's game. I don't chase anymore.
Hold on, one more thing. Here we go.
You like chasing men around, though. I'll tell you that much.
I do, but not anymore. They come to me.
I love that for you.
The DoorDash boys, they come to me. That's the wonderful thing about it. They come right to your door. They dash there. So
They do dash there.
Jambeard says, as punishment for Alex's Joe hate. So someone wants to sing Joe Hendry's theme in as many voices as he can. Well, just because you're being a scutch, Jambeard. It's just gonna be me. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Because they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is so prestigious. Wave your hands from side to side and say, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is the prestigious one. There you go. That's the song.
It was beautiful. Did we read this? That Jesse Ozog is Shakespeare's
No.
birthday death day thing?
No. I also don't think we read this. To be clear, Inamura was pretending to leave, right? I don't think so. I think like his actual excursion time is coming to a close, which is why they're giving him one last big match.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Like that type of stuff keeps products fresh. So I like that they have relationships now across wrestling.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
That's good. Now I think Tim sent one in that was about how it was actually Ricardo who was funding Chase U. So they're feuding over who's more about Chase U.
They're using chats to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous pop.
Mm-hmm. Electric Mayhem wants Nathan Frazier to sing "Da Dip" by Freak Nasty. This goes out to all the women in the world, especially hot women. You know, it don't even matter your age. It don't matter your colour. Yo, fellas, I ain't forgetting about y'all. This is for everybody who like to dance. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it. Take a chance. I'll put my hand up on your hip when I dip, you dip, we dip. Well, you put my hand up on my hip when you dip, I dip, we dip. I'll put my hand up on your hip when I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours and I'll put mine and we can dip down low and roll and grind and Bob's your uncle.
That was beautiful. We got another pun here.
Ooh.
Taz's new Shiraz range. Shataz.
Shataz, very good. People want that guy, the guy I was just perfectly imitating, to be heel.
You know why they're okay with that is because they feel like they have another one when you're there because it's such a good impression. They're like, we wouldn't even be losing anything because we still have him right here.
So yeah, Tim McFall says money's an acknowledgement of Kate and Alex for still standing after this weekend. And I hear Ricardo is financing Chase U, so we have him to thank. There you go. That was from Tim. Let's see here. Fraxium duet. You don't bring me flowers anymore. Neil Diamond. And Barbra Streisand, obviously.
Obviously.
You don't bring me flowers. You don't sing me love songs. You hardly talk to me anymore when you come through the door at the end of the day. Oh, everyone, you couldn't wait to leave me. You used to hate to leave me. No, after lovingly late at night, but it's good for you, babe. And you're feeling all right, or you just roll over and turn out the light. And you don't bring me flowers.
There you go. That's that.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
What an artist Axiom was at the end of that.
Oh, my
like
goodness,
just
for sure.
What a crooner.
Let's see here. Meet Normus wants Linda and Sheila to duet Wonderwall. So I guess we're gonna have to do that.
You mean get to?
We get to do it.
The
You're
privilege
right.
of doing Wonderwall?
We have the privilege of doing that.
Yeah.
We want to do verse 1 and then I'll do verse 2.
Today is gonna be the day that they throw it all back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And Backby, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. You never want that. You want that passion. You want that passion to live there. But I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
And to all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding.
Oh,
there
God,
are many
don't get me
things
started.
that
So
I would
great.
like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all,
you're my Wonderwall.
That was Wonderwall.
We should have a touring act, honestly.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Well, Orion Ben wants Ricky Rainbow to sing "American Boy" by Estelle. We're gonna do that.
Ricky!
Hello.
Hello.
This is the #1 champion sound. Yeah, Estelle, we about to get down. Who the hottest in the world right now? Just touched down in London town. But they give me £1. Tell them put the money in my hand right now. Yes. Tell the promoter we need more seats. We just sold out all the floor seats. Take me on a trip. I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York. I'd love to see LA. I really want to come kick it with you. You'll be my American boy. Thank you.
Nailed it. Know what bugs me about that song for real?
What's that?
She says, take me to New York. I'd like to see LA. And I get that she's saying she would like to see all these different places, but it makes it sound like LA is in New York. Like, oh, take me to New York. I want to see the Statue of Liberty, LA. Like, I don't like that.
Or at least they're nearby. I mean, they're close to each other. You know?
Yeah.
Take me to New York. I'd also like to see Atlantic City.
Sure. Hoboken. It seems a quick.
While we are in the area, might we take a ferry to Staten Island?
Yeah. See, that would be beautiful. We have puns that got lost.
Oh, no.
And Mike Shutt sent them in again. So you get a free super chat next week, Mike Shutt.
They weren't that I saw, but they were Coca-Cola Vice, Sprite Zero Miedo, Fallon Hennessy, Capri Son of a Plumber, Jin and Tanahashi, and Kenio Fago.
You closed really strong on those last three. Thank you for sending those in. We're sorry we missed them the first time. You can we'll do a free chat next week. We'll figure that out. Thank you.
Tom LaValle wants me to sing for Noam Champagne Supernova by
Noam Dar. It's by Noam Dar.
By Noam. He wrote it?
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to Liam and Noel and ask about that.
I hope he gets the publishing rights, because
how many special people change? How many lives and live is strange? Where were you while we were getting high? Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Someday you will find me cut beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova. A champagne supernova in the sky. Take it, Dusty. Wake up the dawn and ask her why. Dream of dreams and never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye, baby. Slowly walking down the hall. Faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high, if you will? Someday you will find me, baby. Caught beneath the landslide in the champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide, daddy, in our champagne supernova. A champagne supernova. Because people believe that they're going to get away for the summer. But you and I, we live and die. The world is spinning around. We don't know why. Why? Why did my son believe John Cena was being truthful? He was being sincere, begging off, just standing there holding a belt like he doesn't know what to do with it, then gets kicked in the nether regions, loses his title, embarrasses the whole family? I don't know. I don't know. That was really silly of him. It's still a sore spot with me 48 hours later.
No, I get it. It's a sore spot with a lot of people. But The Rock knew all of this.
The Rock knew all about it and didn't stop it from happening. He could have changed things, but he didn't want to.
But he didn't Moana.
He didn't Moana because he wanted to sit some Mo on a couch. That's what he did. He sat some Mo on a couch and watched it happen. Terrible. Anyway. Keep cool, Gabagools. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.